AIM-listed ECR Minerals is developing 2 prime gold exploration assets at Baillieston and Creswick in Australia's Victoria Goldfields. ECR acquired 3 properties in 2021, with 2 of those properties within each licence area, plus it has exploration licences for other gold assets in Australia, a 25% stake in a gold asset in the Philippines, and some legacy royalty assets. Since we last spoke in January, assay results have arrived thick and fast from Baillieston and Creswick and provided head geologist Adam Jones and his team with further evidence of gold mineralisation. Adam joins me again from Victoria today. Hello, Adam. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Alan. It's coming to the end of summer here, and it's currently raining here in Bendigo.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It's a nice sunny day here today, and I think we're just at the start of our summer. So anyway, there we go. But anyway, since we last spoke, there's been a lot of data from Baillieston and Creswick, plus the company's also been awarded 3 exploration licenses in the Lulworth Range area in North Queensland, and that covers about 960 square kilometres. So let's look at this first, Adam. When do you plan to get on the ground there? And I'm going to bring up a slide.
Yes, Alan. Well, we're planning on, it's probably likely to just get some boots on the ground. So the first thing we want to do is check out some those initial historic stream sediments, as you see on the map there. Some of them have got visible gold in the pan. This is from the 1980s, all these original stream sediments. So we want to follow them up. And then, but it likely won't start until after August, I'd say, but before Christmas time, because it's in the sort of the dry tropics areas. So we're gonna, expect we can't work there sort of past Christmas time for about 3 months of the year. So we want to get up there around October, which is usually the best time of the year. It's sort of the prime dry period, so to speak.
Of course. And these are located, they're close to some historical gold mines and some producing mines at Charters Towers, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. It's in a world-class district. Bajingo, which is still operating right now. Mount Lation, which I think was an old Newmont mine, I think, off the top of my head. That's abandoned now, but it's... as you can see, produced well over 2.5 million ounces. And you've got the famous Kidston up to the northwest of the area. The interesting thing about this license area is, it's sort of underexplored, but the reported rock types from the area include sort of rhyolitic volcanics and the sort of Charters Towers metamorphic type terrain rocks. And that's sort of what's prompting ECR to have a further look into this area.
Okay, excellent. So moving on to Creswick then, license 6907 was awarded, and ECR also announced the renewal of Creswick license 6184 for an extended 5-year term. Plus, of course, assay results were also reported from the Creswick area. But on the back of that, for this year, you plan soil sampling, exploration of old abandoned mines, and of course, you're going to be drilling on the ECR's land at the Brewing Lane property. Now, I know you and, of course, former Chief Executive Craig Brown were convinced there would be a mine built at Creswick. Where are we now with this, Adam?
Yeah, so as you can see on the maps there, just a bit of an overview of the 2 tenements in question. The location of the Brewery Lane property up in the northeast there, in the square there, and also the area of our 2021 diamond drilling in the yellow. That's where our focus was last year. Currently, EL 6184 is in the renewal process. We still haven't had confirmation from Earth Resources, which is the regulatory organisation here in Victoria for tenements. We've got the first right to it. So we're just sort of waiting on their actual final written permission saying, yep, it's been renewed for another 5 years, and we can start planning on drilling. So on the Brewery Lane property in particular, that's where in 2019 we had a lot of our RC drilling done, and as you can see there, that included hole CSR 11, which included between 12 and 13 meters there, and that came back with an average of at least 11.8 grams a ton, and most of it is coarse gold, as you can see in that magnified picture there. So invariably, that sort of creates problems with our sampling. So to get the to get a justified gold grade, we want to sort of bulk sample as much as we can. So that will so I'm envisioning further RC drilling going forward at Creswick. I'm hoping to get some plans in place to start doing that probably later this year, probably the second term of this year, post our winter here in Victoria, and also when EL 6184 is finally renewed, and we've got the acknowledgement of that. So EL 6907, as you can see, is way down the south at the bottom of the page there. It's on the southern end of this Dimmick's main shale trend, or what we believe is the Dimmick's main shale trend. You can clearly see there the red outlines on that map there, which represents the alluvial gold workings in the region. You can see that they're sort of shedding up from that line. So that's our main target area. And you can see down the bottom there's an area there called White Hills and Shuttleworth, and I've already started mapping that personally myself. There's a substantial lot of historic hard rock quartz workings on strike there, and so that's where I want to start to do our first lot of regional sort of geochem, or really actually prospect geochem. Really, we already know where the mines are, and so we want to expand the footprint of the geochem there. No, there's been never any drilling or rock chips done in that area, and there's actually some opportunity there. It looks like even to get some sort of in situ samples from some of the old workings there. So I'm going to be starting to get our guys and our team doing that in between the logging the core at Ballaston. So that's probably going to start in the next couple of weeks. And so as we get results for those, and I'll keep everybody updated on what happens there. And going forward, I want to plan to do some drilling there later on this year and just see what these quartz veins are and what they're hosted in.
Excellent. Okay. So, of course, moving on, it's been a busy month for Bayliston and HR3. On March the 2nd, you announced assays from hole DD019, which is the deepest hole drilled under the north end of the Maori anticline, which identified 4 mineralized zones. I know there were some very good intercepts there. I think one was half a meter at 9.5 grams per ton. And you stated that these correlated with nearby deposits at Costerfield, Nagambi, and of course the Roo mine, which is currently a Mawson gold project. What does this mean, Adam? I'm going to bring up some details from that hole.
Yes. So since about just before the Christmas holiday period, we started drilling into what we are calling the Maori anticline target. It's where we initially drilled it. It's at the intersection between a northeast striking vein and also the north striking Maori reef, historic reef. And just from the geological logging and all the structural data, we've actually identified now a steep southern plunging anticline fold there. So since then, we've been moving further north along the strike of it and just drilling periodically along strike, just to see how far this anticline extends. And hole 19 was one of the broad regional drill holes we did just before Christmas at the north end of the Goldfield and the north end of the Maori anticline. And as you can see on the section there, it's revealed the anticline there. I'm sort of proud to actually say that the geology team here is really now starting to identify the lithological packages and all the other sort of traits that can identify the fold and where we are in the fold. And now sort of working out now, how do the veins cut through the fold? Do they dilate in certain spots, or do they bed in parallel? So these are the things now we're trying to find out, and obviously follow it up with the grades as well. So the identified mineralization there, as you said, we've identified 4 zones there, which has given us some follow-up targets, which we are currently drilling.
Excellent. And of course, to bring it up to date, March the 14th, ECR announced further assay results from HR3 in the Marianne decline, which revealed consistent gold grades in hole DD012 and visible gold in DD034. This is starting to look like a serious discovery, isn't it, Adam?
Oh, I hope so. It is early days, Alan. So it was just the end of last week. I personally visited the drill rig site. They're on hole 34, as you can see on the picture on the right, and I turned up just as they drilled the last 3-meter run where the visible gold was at the 149.5 meter mark. I turned up there. The drillers were washing the core. Could see all the visible pyrite and sulfide, so I thought this is a good sign, and picked up the bit of quartz there and flipped it over, and literally right in front of me was a good match head size sort of speck of gold sitting there. So that was quite excited. I scratched it and just made sure, yep, it's definitely gold. And so that was quite exciting, and I thought that's just good news all around. But I guess the risky situation of it is that you can clearly see that the with particle size gold, that sort of size, it's sort of really hit and miss. I probably could have drilled a meter away from it and not drilled through that particle of gold. So but you can clearly see there all the hydrothermal pyrite on the footwall and hanging wall. So it's going to be very interesting to see what those results come back from the lab. I'm not to be honest, it's only just been, we're just about finished logging the hole. It will be sampled this week, and it will be at the lab by the end of this week, but it's it might take a couple of weeks to get the initial results. So fingers crossed, I'd say. Yep.
Excellent. Okay, so that's really good news, and obviously a very significant development at HR3. Next steps, then, you plan to move the Midas drill rig up to Scowler's Reef and then onto Blue Moon, and I think we've got a slide to look at here, which looks at the planned drilling for Blue Moon.
Yeah, so Blue Moon shareholders, or probably the shareholders who've been around at least since 2019 will probably remember Blue Moon, or the talk about Blue Moon. You can see in that blue highlighted area there, that's where there was 12 RC drill holes put into that area in 2019. And we've got a couple of good results, and right on the public easement track boundary on the edge of the private property is where we actually had our best results. I still remember clearly logging that hole on site, and you can actually pan off the rock chips that were coming out, and you can actually see visible specks of gold in it. It is at the interface of the oxide level though, where the gold is, but it looks like it's the gold's all contained with sulfides at depth. So the plan is, anyways, we're just we've got the compensation agreements with the landowners in place. We're just sort of finalising, access time, because they're active working farm sites. We've got to work around everybody and make sure that when there's So that's what I'm doing right now. So the plan is, anyways, to do those drill sites as you see on the plan there. The predicted Blue Moon trend is in yellow there. That was just based on previous exploration done there many years ago. But we want to, one of the first things we want to do is actually check out and do some geochem and soil samples ourselves, and just see how far that trend goes. It may actually go further west than you can see on the map. So we're not sure of that, but our first target will be to do some space diamond drilling, just to see how far this trend goes. What I'm hoping out of it is to be nice to get at least an inferred ore, like an ore block, so to speak. And we're looking at least 350 by 170 meters deep. It could possibly mean about 1 million tonnes and if I can get an average of a global grade of about 3 grams a tonne, we're looking at 96,000 ounces plus straight in inferred, just in that one section. But we just don't know how far it goes down deep. Still open in depth, still open east and west. So
okay.
So hopefully.
And what's the time frame on that, Adam?
Well, I'm hoping to drill on at least half of that map coming in about 2 months' time.
Okay.
I'm in talks with one landowner, and it's probably likely that June onwards I'll be able to drill on the other half of it. So I plan to do so with the existing plan drilling at HR3. It's going to time in very well, I think, to just move down the road, so to speak. It's only 10-15 kilometers south, so very quick move.
Yeah. Looks very promising. So on to other matters. Of course, you've shortlisted 3 candidates for the new CEO role. Now, I know you all worked very closely with Craig Brown before his untimely passing last year. Presumably, the entire board will have input on Craig's successor?
Yes. So we've been actively having many nights and evenings and mornings, depending on where you are in the world, with potential CEO candidates and discussing a few things and, just doing all the due diligence checks. Everybody's asking questions, we're answering them, and just making sure that, we get the fit and proper person to replace Craig. We all know that Craig was very hardworking and, dedicated a lot of his time to ECR. So, we want a sort of a bit of an all-rounder, so to speak, I think, with the CEO, especially at the level we're operating at the moment. Our current operations are mainly in Australia. We're currently looking at budgets for Philippines. So there's going to be some news about that pretty soon, I think, as well. So a lot of stuff coming for 2022.
Excellent. Well, it's probably too soon to ask whether you'll be building a gold mine at Creswick or Baillieston this year. But in the meantime, apart from the new chief exec announcement, you've outlined some other stuff there. What should ECR shareholders be looking for in the near term?
So where we're currently drilling at HR, so my plan is for the next few months and going to later this year would be, or it is finish the diamond drilling at HR3, just see the continuity in these vein systems we've just seen. And then I want to plan on doing some ECR drilling at some stage, just do infill and grade control on that. Start getting some inferred resources there. So, it's going to be a valuable asset then. It's money in the bank, so to speak. We've got, so, and that includes at Blue Moon and also at Creswick later in the year. That's my plan. Want to get some initial grassroots stuff done in those Lulworth tenements, just so we can see what we're looking at there, and also some grassroots stuff on those new tenements down the south of Creswick, so I can start putting in plans to Earth Resources to get some permissions for some drilling down there later on this year. Just talking about us. So the next drilling at Creswick will have to be a combination of RC and diamond drilling. So in the new tenement especially, we'll have to put some diamond drilling in there just so I know what the structures are. But for the purpose of grade, like I said, because of the nugget environment there, I'll definitely need to do some RC drilling. Just justifies it more. The cheaper drilling. And hopefully we're doing that with our own RC rig, which we're just one of the holdups on the RC rig has been obviously because of the COVID over the last, especially since Christmas, and mainly that's to do with sending, getting the rig delivered to here in Australia. It's just very expensive. It's quadrupled pretty much of the cost last time, and in the circumstances of prioritizing, we weren't really needing it straight up around Christmas time, but going later this year, we'll definitely need the RC rig. So we'll keep everybody informed about that.
So the prospect of ECR as a gold producer moves tantalizingly closer. It just remains for me to say, Adam Jones, Director of ECR Minerals, many thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you.